morning to you, Lesotho. Thank you so much, and a good morning to our viewers. Well, as you can see behind me, the stadium is actually getting fuller, as predicted by the ANC Secretary General. You can see more crowds are filling up the stadium. On your screen there, you can see visuals of the main stage where the President will be giving an address later on today. But the stadium is being filled up from the topmost parts, which are covered from the rain, and the lower parts right now are still a bit emptier because there is a drizzle currently outside, one of those soft, gentle, continuous drizzles. But as I said earlier on, the members are still filling up the stadium, and we expect the stadium to become probably full to maximum capacity by the time the President actually arrives for his address later on. But actually joining me in studio right now is Papo, who is the ANC Gauteng Secretary. A very good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Now, you are the host province. How are the preparations going on in the city of Gauteng for this event?
For us, we've done everything which is required. The rain, and even if there's a rain, we're expecting our members and supporters to come to the rally, because in as far as we're concerned, Gauteng itself, the way preparations were done, the stadium was already full by some time during the week. So we're expecting our members and supporters to arrive. Some will obviously walk to the stadium, some will come with their own cars, some will actually come with organized transport, and at some point later we expect the stadium to actually fill up, to be full.
So you think it still will be full despite the rain?
Yes, because our members indicated and supporters that irrespective of the rain, they will come. We're quite aware that buses have started collecting people at pickup points, and we are getting information throughout the province in terms of the location of the buses. We are not in any panic mode. Obviously the rain is unpredictable, and attending the ANC rally is not compulsory. But our assessment is that many of our members who said they were coming and supporters, they will come.
Now, Mr. Hope, there have been some accusations that the Gauteng province hasn't done enough to make the event a success. Do you agree with that?
I think that's just as mischief. We've been working with our leadership, the preparatory committee headed by Comrade Banula, and the Office of the Secretary General. They are not having problems with our preparations. So I think that we will not respond to things which are not founded. I'm telling you that every task which was agreed as part of preparations, we have done it. So the allegation that we have not done enough is just mischief.
Well, the Gauteng province has been seen as the only province which openly broke ranks in terms of refusing to give President Zuma unwavering support. Do you agree with that, or what's your comment on that?
I think that's another mischief, that one, because at that time when we discussed the issue of the president, provinces were actually in consultative mode. They were consulting following the extended National Working Committee, and then in May last year we went to the National Executive Committee, and the decision was made on the matter of the presidency. Gauteng is bound by national decisions of the ANC. So at that time, we had to be part of the discussions. So it's just another mischief where people enjoy a narrative of a Gauteng which is in conflict with the national leadership. We've been working with the national leadership throughout, and we discuss issues in the organization. And by the way, in the ANC, structures of the ANC have a right to raise their views when discussions are held. And once these decisions are made, all structures are bound. So when people have a different opinion, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It's part of the discussions in the organization.
Just on that issue of the narrative, the Gauteng ANC chair openly spoke about the country and the issues in the party. Do you actually, can you confirm that the Gauteng branch is in synchronization with the national offices, or is there any conflict?
Those issues he talked about are the same issues which are linked to introspection, reflection in the organization. If you look at the National Executive Committee statement of August, and also look at the statement of the National Executive Committee of November, the last NEC, you will see that what he raised is part of the issues which were raised. Ongoing reflection within the organization, engagement with various sectors of society, which are decisions of the National Executive Committee. So he was just basically saying the ANC is continuing to engage various sectors of society to ensure that the issues which our society has raised, and we know the issue of corruption, the issues of crime, the issues of jobs, are the prime key issues, which even our Deputy Secretary General raised in the article which was in the press. So he was just reiterating what is part of the discussions within the organization.
Now, moving to the theme of this year's meeting, Unity in Action, what's the importance of having used the location Orlando in Soweto this year?
Soweto is an important township in South Africa. It's actually the biggest township in the Republic. Orlando is one of the oldest townships in South Africa. The association of Orlando and Soweto to our struggle for freedom has got immense political and historical significance. Being in Soweto, the African National Congress, the home ground of the African National Congress. By the way, the African National Congress won all the awards in Soweto on the 3rd of August. So we're also using the rally to thank the people of Soweto for voting for the African National Congress on the 3rd of August. Even if ultimately the city is run by the EFF-DA coalition, we thank the people of Soweto for voting for the African National Congress and continuing to have the confidence in the African National Congress. But as I said, its historical and political significance of Orlando and Soweto, it's immense.
Now, this year, 2017, is going to be a very defining year for the ANC. What are the top things that the party seeks to achieve in this year?
In line with the decisions of the organization, we're going to strengthen our organization. We're going to build sub-branches of the ANC, which means at the voting district level. We're going to be building block committees, street committees of the African National Congress. We're going to strengthen our participation in organs of people's power, community policing forums, school governing bodies, all institutions, members of the African National Congress in their right, must strengthen those institutions in our community. We're going to increase our work with various sectors, business, youth, women, the religious sector, various sectors of society. We're going to be working with them to strengthen the work of the African National Congress at the community level.
Now, do you agree with the narrative that there are factions within the party and that these factions have different people that they support to become the next ANC president and next ANC deputy president?
Well, people have got different views about leadership. But as the province of Gauteng, we are bound by the national decision of the organization that at the moment we should discuss principles of the organization in terms of the challenges which face the African National Congress at this period. And then once you've discussed the principles and the challenges, you then look at people who must actually lead. You can't talk of leadership when we have not built a consensus on the principles. So it's just basically putting the cart before the horse. So our approach is that it's people who have got different views about leadership, but that is actually a bit premature. We actually have to look at the challenges in this decade which face the ANC going forward also, and then we will, at a particular time as a province, we're going to also be engaging as a province with other provinces, which was agreed to by the National Executive Committee, on individuals. For now, we're discussing principles and challenges, and then we'll engage other provinces on the people who must lead the organization. So our view is that it's a bit of premature to be talking individuals when we're still discussing principles and challenges which face our revolution in the ANC.
Now, the ANC Secretary General mentioned that there will not be a separate consultative conference that the veterans were asking for. Do you think that there should actually be a separate conference, or is it okay just to have it as like an extra 1 or 2 days after the policy conference of the ANC?
Well, I think the Secretary General was reiterating the National Executive Committee decision, which was taken at the last NEC last year. But provinces are not barred from actually having consultative conferences in their provinces, because anyway, the timing and how the National Consultative Conference will be held, there has to be some preparations in the provinces. And the view of our province is that we need to prepare, whether it's going to be separated or in line with the decision of the NEC, it's going to be before the policy conference. We will actually prepare ourselves as Gauteng in consultation with various sectors of society and our alliance. We'll first hold the Provincial Alliance Summit, and then have a consultative forum or conference with various sectors of our society here in Gauteng in preparation of the national one.
Now, there have also been some calls for the ANC leadership to hand over the baton to youth. Do you agree with that, especially because some of the opposition parties are actually led by younger leaders?
The ANC's approach to leadership has been always the combination of older and young people. You can't just have an organization where we mix ages, we mix race, we mix gender. So it has always been a mixture. Every conference when it comes, the ANC injects new energy into its leadership. There will be an injection of new energy and younger people into the organization. But I don't think it will be correct to say only young people must lead the ANC. That's not the approach of the ANC for leadership. There always has to be balance between the various generations within the ANC. The younger generations, various generations must mix in the African National Congress for leadership. So it's part of the principles which I've been talking about. Therefore, part of that discussion is linked to the issues about principles and approach to leadership.
Now, what's the ANC Gauteng's stance on growing interference from these so-called civil society groups?
The what?
The so-called civil society groups. What's your stance on their growing interference in politics?
Civil society is part of, when we talk about consultation process, we are consulting. These are sectors of society. We consult the religious community, the business community, youth organizations, women's organizations, cultural organizations, the entertainment sector, sports. These are parts of our interaction with the various sectors of society. So we view their contribution to the development of our country as very important.
Now, what do you expect of the president to actually have on the top of his speech today when he gives a keynote address?
Obviously, the president will present the January 8th statement of the NEC, but we are expecting the speech to be anchored on the theme, unity in action, and the second issue dedicated to our Isitwaland Oliver Reginald Tambo and the values he stood for.
Just to take you a step backwards to the leadership and succession debate, the ANC Women's League is in support of Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma as their presidential candidate. Do you think the country is ready for a female president?
As I said, talking names when we're discussing principles and the challenges, for us it's a bit earlier. We cannot talk names. We're busy with discussions on principles and challenges. So that's the position of our province.
And as ANC Gauteng, how do you plan to improve the narrative of a united ANC leading into the 2019 elections?
That's why we are in line with the decision of the National Executive Committee to discuss principles and challenges. That's part of uniting the African National Congress. And the unity in action, it means when we talk unity in action, we abide by the decisions which are taken by the constitutional structures of the organization, particularly the National Executive Committee, which is the highest decision-making body of the ANC. At the opportune time, we will then talk who we think should be leaders of the African National Congress, not only on leadership, on various issues which are decided by the organization. We can't pronounce views which are not in line with the decisions of the organization, particularly after discussions in the National Executive Committee.
Well, thank you so much for your time. That was Hope Papo, the ANC Gauteng Secretary, just taking us through some of the issues that have been faced by the ANC in Gauteng and how they plan to improve the narrative of unity within the ANC, and just also how they want to thank their supporters for voting for them in the metro of Soweto.